Okay, I went ahead and texture mapped the bottom right here with our grid map, and I also went ahead and assigned the UVs. I went ahead and fixed them similar to what these are. Now notice all the UVs are about the same now, about the same size. Maybe except this one I can fix a little bit more, but actually this is going to be its own material. Okay, so with that said, let me go back to the box here. Need to go. I forget about this history stack. You have to select them exactly. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and select this piece here, and I actually want to combine it with these others because all these are going to have the same map attached to it. Okay, and boy, my computer's reacting a little slow. I don't have a lot of geometry in here, but let me go ahead and show you what the UV editor sees now that I have my UVs fixed. Okay, let me go up to Open UV Editor right here, and I'm still at the Unwrap UV level. Okay, again, this menu is going to pop up eventually. There we go. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and I want to see this TIFF pattern. And this is the way my TIFF pattern is laid out relative to my pieces. Okay, so, but it's still kind of all over the place. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to pull some of the mesh away from each other so that I can accurately paint what I want to paint. And just for the sake of painting this whole thing kind of a weird kind of a color, I'm going to make this a kind of a camouflage, not just flat black. I'm going to paint it a camouflage so you can see how this all works. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and maybe now with all these selected, and I wonder if I need to select the faces. I'm going to select the faces. I want to go ahead and break them apart and lay them out, pack them as 3D Studio Max calls it. Okay, with that said, as soon as I hit this button, it laid them all out. Kind of cool. Now I really don't have to worry about segregating them out and fixing them all up. Now they're kind of the way I want them to be so that I can paint on them. So what I can do now is I can file. I can save not to save the UVs. Actually, I have to send this out to a file. So let me see. Let me select these again. Okay. Now the next thing I need to do is render this out to a map in which I can import into Photoshop or into another paint program, whichever one I have. And unfortunately, I don't have Photoshop on this computer, but I do have. What is that software? Oh, I'll figure it out right now. It's made by Autodesk as well. So what I want to do is I want to go to Render UVW Template. Okay, and here's where the tricky part comes in. You have to ask yourself the question: what scale am I rendering, or what resolution am I rendering this at? And is this hero character, and this is what it's called a hero character, your main character in the scene, is that hero character going to occupy the whole screen? If it is, and if let's say you're working on a 720 by 480, which is standard definition, then you probably may want to make your character map a 1K map, and this is a 1K map right here. Okay, now if I double this, it's going to be 2048. That's going to be a 2K map. Double that again, which is going to be 496, and that's going to be a 4K map. That's way too high. I mean, you're rendering 4K if you're going to high def, and that hero character is just going to be in everybody's face on the screen. But for this case, it's just going to be 720 standard def, and I'm just going to use a 1K map. I'm going to render the template here, and there's my template with my layout. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to save this to where my project is, which is on the desktop there. Where is it? Here it is. Stapler, which I probably misspelled. And this is going to be a TIFF. And I'm going to name this top stapler UV. Okay, and that's fine. Let's see, I want to go 8-bit color, 16-bit color. Really, the color depth isn't important right now because I'm not doing anything really fancy. So, and it's asking me about 300 DPI. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so now that's saved, and I'm going to go ahead and open up Sketchbook Pro so I can paint this. Okay, I went ahead and opened this up in Sketchbook Pro. Unfortunately, I don't have Photoshop on this computer, but this will do. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create a new layer, and this stuff is existing in the background layer, but I want to create a new one here, and this new layer is going to be base color. Oops. Base color. Okay, and like I said, I was going to make this a camouflage color, so I'll make it kind of a, need to get this out of the way, I don't know, kind of a tannish kind of base here. Just choose a paintbrush, and I can open that paintbrush up and just kind of paint over the top of that. Now, since I'm on a particular layer, I don't fear, well, hopefully I'm not painting over my my model here. Hang on a second. Let me pan it down here and go back to my brush. Paint this all up like that. Okay. So what I can do here is I can duplicate this layer here. Okay, and I went ahead and I moved the layer, my base background layer, to the top, and I moved the base color layer to the bottom, and I set, which one, I forgot which one I set. I think I set this one to additive blend mode. Oh, maybe not. There we go. Whatever mode that was. Let's see. That was multiply mode. Okay. So now I need to create another layer, and I'm going to be painting the maybe the green color on that. So I'll just come up here and choose a nice kind of deep green color, and then lower my, so I can just kind of paint kind of a camouflage kind of color here. Now the only reason I'm painting camouflage, obviously a stapler is not going to be camouflage in color, but I just kind of want to show you what how the UV editor works and how mapping works. Okay, so then I'm just going to go ahead and, nope, wrong one, move that up, and then kind of continue painting. Okay. Okay, maybe one other color. Maybe just get a little darker tan. And for you who like military vehicles, this is kind of what you would do, but a lot neater. Okay, I'm just kind of running through this real fast. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's probably all I want to do. So now what I need to do is I need to send this out as a texture image. But what I want to do is I want to turn this layer off completely, and I want to send this out. So I just file, save a copy as, and I'm going to save this as a JPEG. Okay, and I'm going to call this stapler. One of these days I'm going to learn how to spell. Okay, and it's going to put it right where the rest of my stuff is, and it knows the size that I wanted, and all those parameters are set. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to bail. It's okay to bail out of this stuff. Boy, it takes a while. And now I want to go to the materials editor. Select this one, go down to diffuse, go down to bitmap, and now I want to navigate to the desktop, to the Max Tutorials there, stapler, and I want to go to JPEG. Actually, there we go. There. So now with this selected, I'm just going to go ahead and drag it over and assign that. And I like how it didn't assign it. Let's go back to materials. Okay, there we go. Okay. So now, because we were able to map the coordinates correctly, and I made my texture, you saw how I went through that whole process of going to the UV editor. I created the basically pattern after laying these out. I went ahead and brought it into well, an equivalent of Photoshop, and painted up the camouflage, and then reattached the new material onto the stapler, and you can see the results. If I had placed this material on there when the UVs were all whacked, I mean, it would be all over the place. It wouldn't even look halfway decent. Now, the only thing I want to say about this model is that when we broke it apart, we weren't really controlling these seams. So you can kind of see where they're breaks. You see this little green line that's right here? Okay, that's showing you where the edges are of the seams of the UV, okay? Now, if you want to fix that, that actually takes a lot more time and a lot more patience and a lot more time than we have time for in this tutorial. But, you know, probably we can go through this in class and I can show you kind of a step-by-step method. But what you need to do then is sew these different components up to each other. Let me show you how you do that, or at least give you the theory on how that's done. Now I want to go to this right here. Okay, I want to select the edges. Now if I select the edges, if I go here, I should be able to zoom right to where those edges are, and that looks like it's in the back there. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could come back very carefully and grab these edges and then send them over to their appropriate place, wherever they would meet up with, and I can't see it. They should be highlighted in blue. Oh yeah, here they are. Okay, watch. When I select these, this highlights, okay? So if I use these stitch commands, that would take the red, okay, and shove it over to where this blue area is. So what I would do is take all these, move all the UVs to this area, and then I would stitch them. Then after stitching them, I would weld them. What that would do for me is, let me close this out. What that would do for me is it would align this edge up exactly so that this camouflage pattern would all kind of work correct, okay? But with the stapler, since it's all black, you may not even care, you know? It could be all one color. Nobody's going to know if there's a seam in there or not, okay? And that's the reason I created this camouflage, is because I want to purposely show you that there are seams that are created and you need to fix those, okay? But anyway, that was just kind of a quick tutorial. I think it ended up being an hour and a half. Is that what it is? But a quick tutorial on how to, one, use graphite modeling tools, and second, how to use the UV editor and assign UV so that you can get your decal placed on correctly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end the tutorial here, and I hope it's been helpful. And if you have any questions, obviously ask me in class. Okay, I'll talk to you later.